What if I told you that the most effective tool for stabilizing your blood sugar isn't a new prescription or a restrictive diet, but something sitting right now in your kitchen tap? It sounds almost too simple to be true, and if you're skeptical, I completely understand. You've likely spent years, maybe even decades, doing everything by the book, tracking every carb, walking until your legs ache, and taking your medications religiously. Yet those morning readings still come back frustratingly high. I'm Dr. Grant Colby, and in my years of clinical practice here in the States, I've seen the heartbreak of patients who feel like they are failing even when they are trying harder than anyone they know. But what if the missing piece of the puzzle isn't a complex medical breakthrough, but a fundamental biological trigger we've completely overlooked? Recent data suggests that the specific timing and method of your hydration can actually boost your insulin sensitivity by as much as 40%. Most people over 60 are walking around in a state of silent dehydration that's driving their glucose up by 15% without them even feeling thirsty. Stick with me for the next few minutes because I'm going to break down the exact protocol my patients are using to regain control. You cannot afford to miss the specific morning ritual I'll reveal halfway through. It's been the ultimate game changer for those who thought they'd tried everything. I see the same look of exhaustion in my clinic every day, men and women in their 60s and 70s across America who feel like they are losing a war they've fought for decades. You're doing everything right, taking your medications faithfully, following meal plans carefully, and walking every single morning. Yet, when you check that glucose meter, the numbers are still unpredictable. It's heartbreaking to watch someone give up the foods they love and still feel like they're failing even when they're trying harder than anyone else they know. This constant vigilance is draining, and the frustration I see is real. You might feel like your body has simply betrayed you, but after 60, several biological things change that make blood sugar control more challenging. Your cells become more resistant to insulin, and your kidneys don't filter glucose as well as they used to. But here's the part that even surprised me in medical school. Your brain's thirst mechanism becomes less sensitive with age. You can be significantly, even dangerously dehydrated without ever feeling thirsty or having a dry mouth. Even mild dehydration, just 2% below optimal, can raise your blood sugar by 10 to 15%. That's enough to cause those frustrating morning spikes that seem to come from nowhere. Before we dive into the specific water method that is changing these numbers for my patients, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of these life-changing health strategies. It is essential to understand that sometimes the most powerful medical interventions aren't the most complicated ones. Recent studies from major medical universities have revealed something truly remarkable. Drinking water at specific times can improve your insulin sensitivity by up to 40%. To put that in perspective, that means your body becomes significantly better at using the insulin it already has, whether that is your own natural production or the insulin you take via medication. The secret isn't just about the volume of water you consume throughout the day, it is rooted in the when and the how. Small, strategic changes in your hydration timing can create profound improvements in blood sugar control. This isn't about replacing your current prescriptions or ignoring your doctor's advice. Rather, it's about giving your biological systems the mechanical support they need to function efficiently. Think of your blood like a river carrying glucose to your cells. When that river is full and flowing, glucose moves smoothly to its destination. But when the river runs low due to even mild dehydration, the blood becomes thick and sluggish, causing glucose to accumulate in the bloodstream instead of being delivered as energy. By optimizing your hydration, you are essentially thinning that syrup and allowing your insulin to knock on the doors of your cells more effectively. To truly grasp why hydration is the linchpin of your metabolic health, we must look at how the body's internal signaling shifts after the age of 60. It is a biological reality that several systems begin to operate with less efficiency, making blood sugar control a steeper uphill battle. First, your cells naturally become more resistant to insulin, meaning they don't respond as quickly when the hormone tries to deliver glucose for energy. Simultaneously, the pancreas may not produce insulin as robustly as it once did, leaving you with less of this critical resource. Even your kidneys lose some of their ability to filter excess sugar, allowing it to linger in your bloodstream longer than it should. But the most overlooked change, the one that catches many of my patients off guard, is that your brain's thirst mechanism becomes significantly less sensitive with age. This means you can be in a state of dangerous dehydration without ever feeling the sensation of a dry mouth or a need for a drink. At a cellular level, things begin to fail long before you feel thirsty. Research shows that even mild dehydration, just 2% below your optimal level, can spike your blood sugar by 10 to 15%. This isn't just a minor fluctuation, it is often the hidden culprit behind those frustrating morning spikes or the sudden afternoon highs that seem to appear out of thin air. Despite your best efforts with diet and exercise, to illustrate how these biological shifts play out in real life, let me tell you about a patient of mine named Robert. He is 68 years old and lives just outside of Chicago, and I could see the sheer exhaustion on his face before he even sat down in my office. "Dr. Colby," he said, his voice tight with emotion, "I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I'm eating carefully, measuring every portion of oatmeal, and I walk 3 miles every single morning. I've cut out the white bread and the hidden sugars, and I take my metformin exactly as prescribed." He pulled out a notebook filled with meticulously recorded blood sugar readings. Some mornings his glucose was 140, other mornings it spiked to 180, even though he ate the exact same breakfast every day. His wife added quietly that his A1C had been steadily creeping up from 7.2 to 7.8 despite his best efforts. Everything looked perfect on paper. His diet was excellent, his medication timing was flawless, and his exercise was consistent. Then I asked him a simple question. "Robert, walk me through your morning from the moment you wake up until you eat breakfast." He explained that he woke up at 6:30 a.m., checked his sugar, and drank black coffee while reading the news until 7:30 a.m. When I asked when he drank water, he paused, confused, and said, "Only when I'm thirsty, I guess." There it was. Robert was going nearly 9 hours without a single drop of water. We made one simple change, drinking warm water with a pinch of sea salt and lemon before his coffee. 2 weeks later, his morning readings stabilized between 125 and 135 for the first time in years. If you find this insight helpful, please comment "good" below, or if you want me to share more success stories like this video to give me the motivation to create more content on this topic. Before I reveal the specific protocol that helped Robert, it is vital to understand the 3 most common mistakes I see in my clinic every day. You are likely making at least one of these right now without even realizing it. The first mistake is waiting until you feel thirsty to drink. Thirst is not an early warning system. It is an emergency alarm that only goes off when you are already clinically dehydrated. By the time your mouth feels dry, your blood has already thickened, your glucose is elevated, and your insulin is struggling to work efficiently. Think of your blood like a river carrying glucose to your cells. When the river is full, the flow is smooth. When it runs low, it becomes thick and sluggish, causing glucose to accumulate. The second mistake is catch-up drinking. consuming large amounts of water all at once after going hours without any. Your body can only absorb about 250 milliliters every 15 minutes. Anything beyond that simply passes through to your bladder without ever hydrating your cells. It is like dumping a bucket of water on a dry plant. The water just runs off the surface. Finally, avoid drinking ice-cold water, especially in the morning or before meals. Cold water causes your blood vessels to constrict, making it harder for insulin to reach the cells that need it most. Room temperature or warm water keeps your vessels dilated and your system receptive. Now, let's get into the heart of the H3 method. Success in managing your blood sugar isn't about drinking gallons of water. It's about these 3 golden times that align with your body's natural rhythm. The first and most critical is the morning ritual. The moment you wake up, your body is in a state of thick blood after 8 hours of sleep. Your cortisol levels are rising, signaling your liver to release glucose for energy. This is why many of you see high readings in the morning, even if you didn't eat late. To counter this, I want you to drink 12 to 14 ounces of lukewarm water. But here is the secret. Add a tiny pinch of natural sea salt, just what sticks to the tip of a butter knife, and a squeeze of fresh lemon. Why? The minerals in sea salt act like a key, unlocking your cells so the water actually gets inside rather than just running through you. The lemon provides a hit of vitamin C and helps alkalize your system. I remember Patricia, a 71-year-old from Florida who struggled with dawn phenomenon for years. By simply starting her day with this mineral-rich water before her coffee, her fasting glucose dropped from 170 to 125 inches just 3 weeks. The second golden time is 15 minutes before your meals. Think of this as priming the pump. Drinking 8 ounces of water before you eat lunch or dinner creates a buffer in your stomach. It slows down the rate at which your body breaks down carbohydrates, meaning the sugar enters your bloodstream as a slow, steady trickle instead of a sudden, overwhelming flood. This one habit alone can reduce your post-meal glucose spikes by up to 20%. Finally, the third golden time is during physical activity. Whether you are walking the dog or gardening in the backyard, your muscles are burning glucose for fuel. However, if you are even slightly dehydrated, your blood volume drops, making it harder for insulin to deliver that fuel. Don't wait until you're finished to hydrate. Take small, frequent sips, about 4 ounces every 15 to 20 minutes of movement. This keeps your internal cooling system running and ensures your blood remains fluid enough to transport sugar out of your veins and into your muscles where it belongs. To make the H3 method truly work for your biology, we need to focus on what I call the 3 essentials. These are the fine-tuning details that separate those who see results from those who don't. First is water temperature. In my practice, I always advise my senior patients to stick with lukewarm or room temperature water. When you drink ice-cold water, your body has to expend energy to warm it up, but more importantly, cold temperatures cause your blood vessels to constrict. This temporary narrowing can actually hinder the efficient delivery of insulin to your cells. Warm water, however, keeps your system relaxed and your circulation flowing smoothly. The second essential is mineral quality. Plain, highly filtered water is often empty, meaning it's been stripped of the natural electrolytes your cells need to actually absorb the moisture. This is why that tiny pinch of sea salt is non-negotiable. It provides the sodium and magnesium trace minerals that act as a bridge, carrying water across the cell membrane instead of letting it just sit in your bloodstream. Finally, the third essential is consistency over intensity. Drinking 3 liters of water in one afternoon won't fix a week of dehydration. Your cells respond best to a steady, predictable rhythm. It's the small, repeated habit of hydrating correctly that repairs your insulin sensitivity over time. If you're finding these clinical insights helpful for your health journey, please hit the like button and share this video with a friend who is also working hard to manage their sugar. Your support helps me reach more people who need these simple, life-changing strategies. One of the most common questions I get is, Dr. Colby, how much water do I actually need? The 8 glasses a day rule is outdated because a 200-pound man and a 120-pound woman have very different biological requirements. Here is the professional formula I use. Take your body weight in pounds and divide it by 2. That number is the total ounces of water you should aim for daily. For example, if you weigh 160 pounds, your goal is 80 ounces. However, don't try to hit that number all at once. Spread it evenly across your waking hours to avoid overtaxing your kidneys. Now, let's talk about the night ritual. Many seniors avoid drinking water in the evening because they fear frequent bathroom trips disrupting their sleep. While I don't want you chugging water at 10 p.m., a small 4-ounce glass of water with a high-quality magnesium supplement about an hour before bed can be a miracle worker. Magnesium is a natural insulin sensitizer and helps relax your blood vessels while you sleep. This specific nighttime habit helps prevent your liver from overproducing glucose during the night, leading to much better numbers when you wake up and reach for your monitor. It's about being strategic, not just hydrated. By giving your body the right minerals and the right amount of fluid before rest, you are setting the stage for metabolic success the next morning. I want to leave you with the story of Margaret, a 72-year-old from Phoenix who felt defeated by her rising A1C levels despite a perfect diet. After just 14 days of following this H3 hydration protocol, she called my office in tears, not of frustration, but of pure relief. Her fasting glucose had stabilized for the first time in 8 years. This is why I share these secrets, because sometimes the most profound health breakthroughs are hidden in the simplest habits. I challenge you to commit to this 14-day water protocol. Track your numbers, feel your energy levels rise, and notice the clarity in your thinking. Now, while I am a doctor, I am not your personal doctor. This information is for educational purposes and should not replace the professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment from your primary healthcare provider. Always consult with your physician before making significant changes to your medication or hydration routine, especially if you have underlying kidney or heart conditions. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today and for your incredible support of this mission to spread health literacy. If you found this guide valuable, please subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. By doing so, you'll be the first to know when I release new clinical strategies to help you navigate your health journey with confidence. Your engagement helps us reach more seniors across the country who are looking for real, sustainable answers. I'm Dr. Grant Colby. Take care of yourself, stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next video.